Good evening, Bhante.
This is I'm trying to get on, trying to get back to my Zoom program here. Okay. Hopefully we won't have any technical interruptions. I've been without my tech support for the last few times, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna start the recording. Okay, friends. So it's 7 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and start with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. So welcome, friends, to this Wednesday night Zoom program. And again, I want to apologize for any of those who were tuned in last week. Just as we got cut off, there was a powerful storm. In fact, we got a message from the weather, service saying people in this area of, Maryland should go to their basements if they have a storm shelter, but it didn't get that bad here, actually, but it did knock out the Wi-Fi until later that night. So we'll see, try to get the program going again tonight. So we're going to go over continue our talk on the living in the present moment. And the meanings of the middle path. So we were going to go over the Bhaddhakarata Sutta tonight. We're going to go over that. And I'm going to be sharing the sutta on the screen in a moment. But in the last couple of talks, or the first talks, I talked about the turning the wheel of Dhamma, the definition of the way the Buddha defined the middle path in his first sermon, being the avoidance of the extremes of sensual indulgence, or the opposite of denying oneself any type of pleasurable feelings, and to, kind of torturing the body and trying to endure painful feelings. So that's what I call the external middle path, the Noble Eightfold Path, the way that the Buddha described it, is avoiding those extremes of how to live in the world and dealing with the sense objects of the world. Normally, people either get up and connected, addicted to indulging in their senses, enjoying their senses, and getting addicted to various things, or people that go into self-denial and denying themselves, thinking they shouldn't have any type of pleasure. But anyway, so this evening we're going to go over the mental dimensions of the middle path. So I'm going to share this sutta now. Hopefully it will come up. I always have this kind of problem of, I don't know why I always have this. Okay, so this translation is from the Thanissaro Bhikkhu, and we're just going to read it. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so this word, the Bhaddhikaratta Sutta, I'm going to read this because the way translators translate some of the Pali words can make a difference kind of in the meaning of that. And so Ratta, as you can see, it's usually translated as a night, one auspicious night. And some other teachers have it as one fortunate attachment. Venerable Nyanamoli translated as one fortunate attachment. And Venerable Nyanananda called it the ideal lover of solitude. So on a first reading, these kind of seem to be different. But actually they all have a kind of have a meaning for that translation. So one auspicious night, auspicious means something that's kind of, fortunate or good or rare, having one night, spending one night. So it basically means spending one night keeping the mind in the present moment. Because when the mind is in the present moment, there's no thoughts of the past or future. And all of our problems arise from problems thinking about the past or future. So if one keeps the mind in the present moment, then you can reach the first jhana by keeping the mind in the present moment without any intervening thoughts. So having spent the night in that meditation, which would mean like being in the jhana, that's very auspicious and very fortunate. And so that's why the other translator translated as one fortunate attachment. If you had any attachment, it would mean attachment to enjoying the happiness of being in the present moment, or being able to reach those states of meditation where you are not bothered by the five hindrances. So that's a fortunate attachment, as opposed to other attachments that bring us a lot of suffering. And that attachment will eventually lead to enlightenment. Now, the last translation, the ideal lover of solitude, the solitude basically means also being removed from the five hindrances. So that means living in solitude means living in the present moment, not having the friends of your past and future thoughts or your aches and pains and other things coming in to want to entertain you or to disturb your quietness. So a person who abides in the present moment, then that means either attaining any one of the four jhanas or even in deep insight, where one is dwelling in the present moment. And the awareness is just flowing from moment to moment without getting caught or dragged away into any thoughts of the past or future, or any reactions to any of the sensory stimuli coming through the senses. So anyway, those are those various meanings of this Bhadikaratta Sutta. And Bhada means like a fortunate, some kind of fortunate night, fortunate attachment. Anyway, so it's a very short sutra. It's one of the shortest sutras in the whole Majjhima Nikaya. And so one shouldn't chase after the past or expect the future. It means thinking of the past or future. Because what is past is left behind, and the future is not yet reached. But instead, having the mind centered in the present moment, where you're clearly seeing things arising and passing away right there in front of the eye of awareness, not taken in by any objects, unshaken by them. That's how you develop the heart. Ardently doing this is what should be done. One should do it today, for who knows, tomorrow death may come. So whoever lives thus ardently, relentlessly, both day and night, has truly had an auspicious day. And then, so the Buddha goes on to explain, how does one not chase after the past or get carried away with delight of the past? Thinking, oh, when I was young, I had such a nice, strong, healthy body, and, now, and they're thinking in the future, now I'm old and I, can't enjoy things. So thinking about the past basically is just remembering thoughts, memories in your mind. And thinking, I had such feelings and so on. So anyway, I'm not going to read through all this. In the past, I had such a feeling. He talks about the 5 aggregates. So form, and then the feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness. So he doesn't, go back into the thinking about the way those things had been in the past, or hoping they're going to be some way in the future, but learning how to see them in the present moment. So taken in by those things means taking these things as being me, mine, and myself. And how is one not taken in with regard to these presently arising things? They do not regard them as self, or me or I or me or mine. Neither the feelings, the pleasant, painful feelings, the perceptions, the thought fabrications, or even the consciousness. And that's probably the most important part, is because normally we take our consciousness as self, because it's always present. And we're seeing it as something that's continuous. Whereas at least various thoughts, sounds, smells, tastes, touches are constantly coming and going. So we can see how those are changing. But normally our consciousness, we take that as being something that's really, myself. And as being something, because we don't see how it just arises and passes away. So that is the summary and the exposition of one who has an auspicious day or night, or a fortunate attachment. That means developing the mindfulness in which you can have this kind of mindfulness with you more and more and more, so that when various thoughts, feelings, perceptions arise during the day, we can reflect on them and hopefully not cling to them to the extent that then we do some karmic actions based on them, or allow them to, make us do things that we don't want to do, such as break the precepts and so on, or overcoming our laziness and so on. So basically, it's a person who can spend the night or day or even some hours, in that kind of keeping the mind in the present moment. And that's, considered to be, the essence of the practice. And basically, that means the middle path. So actually, mindfulness is the middle path. Now, having gone over there, I'm going to stop this sharing now and come back and just reflect on this idea of the middle path being the mindfulness. And I've talked a lot about this in the past in other Dhamma talks. And but keeping the mind in the middle. And basically, that's the meaning of meditation. The word meditation is an English word, but it's the translation of the word bhavana, the Pali word bhavana, which means to grow or develop. And basically, it means to grow or develop the middle path. That means the wisdom, concentration, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom, which leads to the mind being able to stay longer and longer in the present moment without getting carried away into thoughts of the past or future. Because all of our problems are problems of the past and the future. Just try to think of any problem that you have that's not connected to the past or future in one way or another. Now, so the meditation is spelled MEDI, starts with the root of MEDI. So whoever translated the word bhavana for meditation, I don't know, they must have been a meditator, I guess. I don't know, because the word itself means the middle, MEDI. What other words start with MEDI? Medicine. Okay, medicine is a bridge between sickness and health. It stands in the middle between sickness and health. And a mediator sits between two arguing groups of people to solve their differences. And a medium tries to communicate between disembodied spirits and human beings. So they think they're the the middleman. They say, "Oh, your dead great grandfather, he came to me in a dream or something," or even the media. Now the media these days, we don't know what they're all up to now, and they try to flesh out the truth. So, meditation. Why did the person who translated this call it meditation? Because he must have had this experience, or she, about the mind being in the middle. So meditation sits in the middle between what? The past and the future. Those are the two extremes. The past is one extreme, the future is another extreme. So keeping the mind in the present moment, as I've already mentioned, then that is the state of happiness, because it's also the natural vibration of our consciousness without the sense of self and ego. Because when the mind is really in the present moment, the feelings of even ourself starts to disappear, because our feeling of self is made up of just memories of the past and the future, as the sutra was saying. Oh, I had this kind of a body when I was, 15 years old. I, had all these good looks and strength and so on, or I had all these pleasant feelings, these perceptions. And then as you get older, you start losing all that, and all that changes. So in meditation, you choose a meditation object, such as the breathing, right? So we focus our mind in the breathing and try to develop concentration, where our mind stays focused on the object, just remembering breathing in, breathing out. We're breathing in, sitting, breathing out, sitting, as I usually guide people during the meditation. Something that's occurring in the present moment. And really that's the body, and the sensations in the body are the only sensations that we can sort of control, because we have it with us all the time. So as long as you keep remembering the present moment, or just sitting, breathing, and then learning how to let go of your thoughts. That's the main trouble in meditation, is people get carried away in their thoughts. And that's why I always recommend people doing some yoga exercises before meditating, in order to generate more body sensation, and also to do some deep, slow breathing, so you can more easily feel the breath going in and out, the expanding and contracting of your abdomen, rib cage, and chest, or feeling the physical contacts of the body, the buttocks pressing the seat, or clothing touching your skin. All those are sensations in the present moment. And they're not far away. They're just, an inch beneath your nose, basically. And so that's why the Buddha himself chose mindfulness of the body as the starting point for developing the ability to stay in the present moment. Now, people can use other objects too, such as metta, okay? So you can develop the thought of metta, even a limited amount of words, may myself, my family members, and friends and relatives, may they be well and happy. And if you're able to keep your mind just on those few types of thoughts, without it going to the past and the future, then also the mind would basically come to rest, in the present moment, and to overcome the 5 hindrances. So the middle path, the main dualities are, as I mentioned, the mind getting caught between the past and the future, because that's all we've done our whole life. And, older people, they usually, like to think about the past more, because they can remember so many things they did, from the past, and their future is kind of bleak, as they get older, right? So they may not like to think of they like to think more of the past, because they don't have much future to expect. Unless, of course, one has been meditating for many years and has developed their mind to a great extent, and is no longer afraid of death, and is, kind of excited for what the next life might bring. So anyway, so and then the second duality is pleasure and pain. So, they were always trying to like in meditation, you're feeling unpleasant sensations, pains developing in your legs or back or neck, or you're trying to remove them. You're moving around, or you're trying to itch or scratch some unpleasant sensations, and that's what keeps the mind disturbed. So you learn how to keep still. That's why keeping the body still and learning how to endure these pleasurable or painful feelings, and to see how they're impermanent and not reacting to them. So, but the mind is constantly, trying to, find the more comfort and to overcome pain. And it's a never-ending process. So, and that's what keeps the mind also thinking about the past and the future. But basically, it's because we have not developed enough concentration. And we haven't learned how to tune our awareness into the present moment. Now, I'm just going to mention the last of these dualities is self and others. So our mind is constantly, either we're thinking about ourselves, oh, woe is me, my problems, this and that, or we're thinking about others. That person did this, that person did that, and so on. So those three dualities, those are what I call the principal dualities, that the mind is constantly going back and forth between. And the mind is like a ticking clock, a pendulum clock, ticking, tick-tock, tick-tock. As long as the pendulum is going back and forth, time continues. But when the pendulum stops moving back and forth, what happens to the time on the clock? It stops. So when the mind stops going back and forth between pleasure and pain, past and future, me and the others, then because its whole life identity is built up from that. And these are just memories in the mind, in the brain. But because we've never been taught that there's a different modality, a way of being aware. And of course, that's what meditation is. So that whoever invented the word or thought about translating the word to meditation, he was spot on, I mean, the Buddha didn't know English, I guess, maybe. He didn't probably translate those, but it's really a good word. But a lot of people, they're calling meditation so many different things these days. But that's the deeper meaning. That's the deeper meaning of the word meditation. It means keeping the mind in the middle, which means between these three principal dualities. And there's other dualities too, like the body and mind. So a person could get lost in their body, obsessed with their body, like wanting to build up muscles or use it in some way to impress others, and other people are lost in their mind and not aware much of their bodies. So being lost in the body or being lost in the mind, those are also the extremes. So in mindfulness, again, we're sitting in the meditation, we're just observing the body sitting and breathing. And when the mind starts thinking, we're observing, thinking, letting it go. And, refraining from wanting to scratch and look, itch and move around during meditation. So we're not paying attention to getting lost in the body or lost in the mind. And so those are you could say those are also two dualities, the body and the mind. So that's what I wanted, primarily what I wanted to emphasize tonight in this discussion on the middle path, about keeping the mind, and using the body as that, like the anchor of a ship, because this breathing body is really all we have. It's the only thing that's with you all the time. from the moment you are born, of course, the breathing isn't with you maybe while you're still in the womb, but when the baby comes out and the doctor, hits it on the rump, right? Then it starts breathing. So from the moment of that moment to the moment you die, this breath has been going in and out of this body billions, maybe trillions of times, but we hardly ever know it. And that's why the Buddha used that as the starting point for most of the meditations. And because it's always there, and it's just, or the body, you breathe in and the air touches your nostrils, so your attention is brought to the body, or you're feeling the expanding and contracting of your lungs or chest, and feeling those tactile sensations that are on the body, which is basically in the present moment. So and that's the practice that I always suggest people doing, because that's the way the Buddha taught that. I mean, the four foundations of mindfulness, which the Buddha said, this is the direct way for overcoming pain and suffering, for entering the right path, developing wisdom, and coming back home, basically to the middle path of present moment awareness, what I call body-centered present moment awareness. Because every cell of our body has a kind of an awareness. And so when you're feeling the more of the body and breathing that you can feel, the more awareness that you are cultivating, and the less time for your mind to get carried away in other thoughts. So friends, this is what I wanted to share with you this evening. And so now I'm going to open it up, see if there's any questions about that. Doesn't look like there's anything in the chat box. I know I've talked about this quite a lot, but you can never really, get enough of it. Because, to use the expression, that's where it's at. So Dragon Yogi, I see you have your yellow hand up. You have a question?
Yes, Bhante, gratitude and appreciation. A big word, bhavana.
Yes.
And I forgot who did the translation. Was it Lise? They were doing the translation in 3 different languages, right? To
Well,
get the English.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's many people have translated that sutta.
Yeah.
Suttas. That particular one I was reading tonight was from Thanisaro Bhikkhu, who's a
Okay.
very widely known translator. Between him and Bhikkhu Bodhi, and there's a Bhikkhu Sujata. They've probably are the 3 sort of contemporary Westerners who are still living, who have translated these sutras, and they're widely available, on the internet to read.
I just have one question about you mentioned the 5 aggregates,
Yes.
and I've always practiced using them. Okay, when they come up, not me, not mine, not myself, impermanent, unsatisfactory. I had a new word that just came up, unreliable,
Unreliable.
soulless,
Yes.
no self.
They're unreliable because they can disappear at any moment. We don't have control over them.
Yeah, are there any other things we can use, like when they come up, instead of not me, not mine?
Yes, you can just follow the Mahasi sort of method of noting. Whenever you get started to get carried away in a thought, just just say thinking.
Mhm.
Or if you hear a sound and you start thinking about the sound, it's just hearing. See, normally we don't hear things, we think about things.
Mhm. Mhm.
You think you're hearing this voice and you're saying, oh, Bhante Rahula is talking, those are thoughts in your mind. That's not really hearing. Sound is just sound. Thoughts are just thoughts. Smells, taste, touches are just those vibrations. But we normally don't see them as vibrations. We see them as objects. And that the object is the perception, the way the mind creates or develops these perceptions into objects that then appear to be stand out in time and space. That's all created in our brain. But people don't understand that mental process. And that's why the Buddha taught these five aggregates. So just the being able to, anytime you start to get carried away in thoughts, just thinking. That means there's nobody that thinks, and it's just thoughts. Don't follow them and develop perceptions and bring in the past and the future about it.
Personalizing
When,
it.
when you can identify that, or just hearing, or
Mhm.
smelling, or tasting, seeing. Right now you're seeing this screen, but really it's just colors striking your eye in a certain shapes that your mind remembers. That's Bhante Rahula, for example, or that's the Buddha statue behind.
Mhm.
But that's our mind. That's not the reality.
Mhm.
So, that's the technique that I used in my first, couple years of practice, and it was one of the most helpful, kind of techniques of cutting off the thinking about the object. It's just hearing. So let go of whatever you were thinking about the object,
Mhm.
and then be open to something else. And
Mhm.
if a feeling is there, it's just feeling. Don't call it pleasure, don't call it pain. It's just a vibration.
No good, bad.
Right. All those
Mhm.
are perceptions and thoughts that then we get attached to. Then we
Mhm.
start forming our ideas about how can I get that pleasurable object or get away from the painful object. So that is an alternative technique. Instead of this is not mine, not myself,
Mhm.
the just calling it just the hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, thinking. It does the same thing basically. It cuts off the what is called papancha. That means
Mhm.
the proliferated thinking about the objects that then trigger off our emotions and our greed or our hatred. These are just sort of tricks, mental tricks. See, we've been tricked by Mara, ignorance,
Mhm.
to get attached to the things of the world. And so we have to learn how to decondition our mind. Our mind's been deconditioned, or our mind has been conditioned from the moment after birth, our parents, and going to school, and everything has influenced us
Mhm.
because we didn't know the Dhamma. So that's the way, what, that I would recommend, incorporating that, although there's some drawbacks. You don't want to try to label everything as just hearing, seeing. But when your mind starts, especially when it starts to get carried away in something, you can cut it
Mhm.
off and say, oh, hearing.
I've
Or,
been using that also, that what you've just been talking about, that same practice. And I also, what I found out was how big storytelling is.
yeah, our
How
mind is
big
just a storyteller.
it just, I mean, anyway, thank you.
You're,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Okay, I see a couple of something in the chat box. Let's go over there. Uh, is there a term called midway in Buddhism? If it is, what does it mean? midway. Well, I haven't heard that particular term. I think it's called the middle way, actually. It's the middle way. The middle way means the middle path. Midway itself, I haven't seen it spelled midway, but definitely the middle way is the middle path. Just what I've been talking about, keeping the mind in the middle between the extremes of past, future, pleasure, pain, self and others, or any other type of dualistic conceptions. So that's the way I would, call the meaning of it. Now, just midway, I haven't heard that myself spelled just midway. It's always been the middle way or the middle path. And it's another name for the Buddhist teaching, the middle path. Majjhima Patipada. Okay. Okay. The second chat, Bhaskara, he's just reiterating that. Pali term for middle way is Majjhima Patipada. Yeah. Yeah, so just stick with the middle way. I mean, a lot of translators have the option, the leeway, the liberty to translate terms as they see fit. So we can see that even this sutta that we've been discussing tonight, Bhattacharata Sutta, we can see that the three different translators have translated it in a different way. One auspicious night, one fortunate attachment, or ideal solitude. Now, just looking at those on the surface, you'd think, oh, those are different. But when you investigate the meanings of it, you see that they're not really that different. And so that's where we have to be careful when we read so many different translations. We have to try to think and try to understand the deeper meaning behind just the words, what's it's implying. Okay, friends. So I think if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and stop this discussion, take a few minutes. Do you have another question, Dragon Yogi?
Yeah, it's Bhante. I had one other question. It has to do with first one has to do with the eyes closed. And if we're seeing the body not as a form, just sensations in the body, like there's no outline, say, of the body, is that a good way of doing it, meditating as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, just the sensations.
Yes.
Just there's no real.
Because the outline of a body is a mental picture your mind creates out of all the different sensations you're feeling from your head, your hands, your feet, your buttocks, clothing touching the skin. It's taking all these millions of sensations and threading them together and calling it body, because that's the way you've learned it since you were a child. And it's their object. So yes, that's the way that's called investigation of Dhamma. Understanding, that's a perception. So the outline of a body is a mental perception, and then people take that perception to be then mind. But when you see it as just the individual vibrations and can feel them, the more sensations you can feel, the less time for your mind to create this idea of a body. And gradually the sense of self or I fades away, and so does the outline of the body. And that's an advanced state of awareness. And so if you reach that level, that is actually good. And even if you of course, you're not going to be able to stay in that state all the time unless you've attained arhatship or something. But at least knowing what it is will help you to avoid, getting infatuated by the body or carried away by it or worrying about it too much. But yes, first you let go of the objects coming through the senses, then you get centered in the body, feeling all these sensations, and the more you can feel and developing this idea, this is not me, not mine, it's just a illusion, then it's that perception starts to fade away, and with it the sense of self too. And that's the way eventually you will gain the deeper jhanas and even enter the path, gaining those deep insights.
Thanks to you. I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
You have
Bhante.
to thank yourself for having the desire to go deeper in the practice. And okay, so let's go ahead and take a few minutes break, and then we'll come back and find a little space to do some yoga breathing and stretches before we get into our meditation. Okay? We'll see you back in a few minutes. Move over. What's happening? This is moved. Okay, friends, so let's try to stand straight, relax your shoulders and arms at the sides. Let's close your eyes. Try to feel the outline of a standing body. Feel your head balanced on top, arms and hands hanging at the sides, feet pressing the floor, clothing touching the skin. Feel your eyes in the sockets. Try to feel that outline of the standing body. Just remember standing, standing, and begin some deep, slow breathing, developing this present moment mindfulness, breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath in a couple of seconds. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to combine this breathing with these movements. Doing the movement while breathing in, holding that position for 2 seconds. Returning to the starting point on the out breath. Repeating each exercise 3 times. So always keep your mind in the body, feeling the sensations. So on the next in-breath, raise your arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten your arms, stretch your head back, look at the back of your hands, and release your fingers on the out-breath, lower the arms back to the sides, feel the air go out as the arms come down. Again, in-breath. Stretch up, bend back a little bit, feel the sensations, out breath, feel the air go out as the arms slowly come down. Once more, in. Bend back a little more, hold it a little longer, feel the sensations. Out breath, feel the air go out as your arms come down. Close your eyes. Just remember standing, standing. Feel the increased body sensations. Especially in your hands or fingers being stretched. Just letting go of your thoughts. Feel the clothing touching your skin. Just close the eyes, feel the outline of the body. Letting go of your thoughts. Now the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head. Face the hands toward each other, about 6 inches apart. Stretch. Out breath, come back down. Feel the air go out as the arms come down. In-breath up. Use the in-breath to help lift up the body. Stretch. Out. Once more. In. Stretch. Out. Let's close the eyes. Feel the outline of the body. Head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Might feel increased heart beating, other sensations. Letting go of your thoughts. Just remember the present moment, standing. Next we'll do side bending, using both arms. On the in-breath, raise both arms up. Keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over your right side. Keep your arms straight, parallel to each other like railroad tracks. In-breath, lift up. Then the other side, out breath. In. Then to the right, out breath. In. Feel the changing sensations, out. In. Once more to each side. The out breath, lower the arms. Close the eyes. Hold that outline, the body in the mind's eye. Feeling all those sensations, head, arms, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Any little aches or pains. All those sensations are just basically the cellular vibrations, interaction, all the functioning of the body. The outline of the body is a perception created in the brain, memory. It's the present moment, so it's a good perception. Okay, next we'll do knee bending or squatting. On the next in-breath, lift up again on the balls of the feet, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees and lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Come down in the squatting position. Take a deep breath, lift up on the toes. An out breath, lower down. Feel the muscles in the legs, lifting and lowering the body. In. Out. In. The out breath, relax. And the increased heartbeat, other sensations. Don't let the mind wander in thoughts. Close the eyes, feel the outline of the body. Standing, vibrations. What all you're feeling are just energy vibrations, electrons, atoms vibrating, interacting. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Standing. Okay, now spread your legs and feet apart about 3 feet. And hold your hands out to the sides. We're going to do lateral twisting of the spine. Spinal twists. And breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. On the in-breath, come back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body, twist to the other side. Out breath. In-breath, front. Then to the right, out breath. Out. Once more to each side. Relax. Close the eyes, feel each foot pressing the floor. And the sensations, legs spread apart, hands hanging at the sides, and subtle pulsations in your fingers. Your clothing touching the skin. Your head balanced on top, the eyes in the socket. The outline of the body. present moment, body-centered awareness, beginning of the middle path, watching your body, watching your mind without being lost into. Now bring the legs back together. We're going to do head turning from right to left. Standing straight, the chin level with the floor. On an in-breath, turn your head to the right as far as you comfortably can. Look over your right shoulder. On the out-breath, turn the head all the way back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. And stiff neck, just be careful. In-breath back to the right. Out left. In right. Out left. Once more to each side. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the middle. Feel the outline of the body. As though you're kind of watching the body, standing, breathing. And one last exercise, the backward and forward bending. If you have a stiff back or spine, just be careful with the exercise. Don't bend back too far the first time. But turn your palms facing outwards so your little fingers touch together. And on an in-breath, raise the hands up level to your eyes. And begin spreading your arms out to the sides as you bend back. Keep your eyes open. Look at the ceiling. Feel the arch of the spine. Be careful. And in-breath, carefully lift up. Keeping the arms out at the sides, and on the out-breath, lower the arms and hands down towards the floor by your feet. See if you can touch your toes. And keep the legs straight. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And carefully begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward again. In the in-breath, bring the hands up. Out-breath, arms out to the sides, bend back. In-breath, lift up. Out-breath, downward stretch. Stretch down a little more. The little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Once more. In. Out. In. Third time, try to hold that downward stretch longer. Keep the legs straight. The bones in the lower spine stretch out. Feel all the sensations. Bend your knees a little bit. Then lift up. Breathe in, bring your hands together at the chest. Out breath, hands to the sides. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating, activated life force. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Starting point for developing the middle path. Between dualities, standing. Okay, now let's mindfully come back to our seats, ready for the sitting awareness. Friends, so get comfortable in your sitting posture. Just try to align your spine and the back of your head in a straight line. Just gently close your eyes. Just feel your eyes resting in the sockets. Feel your eyelids stretched over the eyeballs. Try to mentally feel that outline of the sitting body, the head balanced on top, keep the chin level with the floor. Relax your shoulders. Feeling the clothing touching the skin of your shoulders. Feel your hands resting in your lap or on your legs. Try to feel the natural inward curve of the lower spine. It helps support the weight of the upper body. You can imagine, feel the spinal column going up from the base of your spine to join the base of the skull. Keeping the spine straight is important for developing awareness. All the sensory data from the senses goes through the nervous system located along the spine. Or goes to the brain where you have perception. Just feel your buttocks pressing the seat. Feel the way your knees are bent and the legs tucked underneath. Just try to hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. You can do the 3-part breathing, taking about 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs, 2 or 3 seconds. Feel the oxygen getting out into the bloodstream. And on the out breath, feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this present moment mindfulness. And breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath a second. And breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath a second. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Now as the breath goes out, don't try to control the breath any longer. Just let it relax. Feel a longer pause. Just let the breath come back in on its own. Keep focused. Feel the shorter, uncontrolled breathing. Continue following the expanding and contracting movements. Start to especially feel where the clothing rubs against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest, as it expands and contracts. Try to be like a scientist looking down through a microscope, observing an experiment, just tuning into the 4 phases of each breath cycle, the expanding in-breath and the brief pause, the contracting out-breath and the brief pause, just over and over and over again. To help stay focused, you can use these brief mental reminders of the present moment. In, sitting, out, out, sitting, in, sitting, out, out, sitting. It's the present moment, this sitting, breathing body. Try to hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye, the third eye of awareness. Just feel that expanding and contracting breathing within the larger breathing body. Feel the brief pauses between the in-breaths and the out-breath. Especially in those brief pauses, feel the outline of the sitting body. We're just in, sitting. Out, out, sitting. Just remember that much. It's not much to remember. In, sitting. Out, out, sitting. Feel all those changing sensations in the breathing. There's many different sensations of just the expanding in-breath. Brief pause, contracting out-breath. And a brief pause. At the same time, be alert for thoughts trying to sneak in, steal your attention away. Get carried away in thinking, just note it as thinking. Gently let go of the thought. Stay with the breathing body. in sitting, out, out, sitting, breath by breath, moment by moment. Especially on the out breath, try to follow it, contracting out breath all the way down to the end. Feel that brief pause before the next in breath. Relaxing the body and mind more and more with each out breath. Feeling subtler sensation. Noticing thoughts trying to sneak in, to steal your attention away. The brief pauses between the breaths, checking the posture, keep the chin level with the floor. Keep the spine straight. The body is slouching, so mindfully straighten back up. An alert body equals an alert awareness. In sitting. Out, out, sitting. The moment you were born, the moment this body dies, this breath has been going in and out of this body millions, billions of times. Feeding the cells with life-giving oxygen. We hardly ever know it. Even while you're feeling the breathing and the posture, you can notice other sensations coming and going, in or around or through the breathing body awareness. You might feel your heart beating, the blood pulsing, prickly sensation, minor little aches or pain. It's part of this living body process. Keeping the awareness in the middle. Not thinking of the past, not thinking of the future. Feeling each present moment arising sensation. The rising in breath, falling out breath. Become aware of the subtle stream of thoughts moving through the back of the mind. From time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths. Keep the bloodstream charged with oxygen. You'll keep the mind awake, centered in the body, sitting body, just feeling more and more sensation. Try to think, be aware of all these sensations, just being electrons, atoms, molecules, cells, vibrating, interacting, producing all these different sensations. course, even the idea of a sitting, breathing body as a perception created within the mind based on memory. Even sounds are just sound vibration, going in one ear, out the other, creating, triggering off memory and perception, creating objects out of vibration. You want to think about something, just think about how that works. The whole world is just created out of vibrations and memory. Just underneath all of that mental activity is the subtle vibrations of the present moment, awareness. All those vibrations of the nervous system. Every cell has awareness. More vibrations you can feel, the greater expanded that awareness becomes. This opening up to the flow of impermanence. So many sensations, sounds, thoughts coming and going. The mind is centered in the middle. You have a good detachment from that awareness, just observing this breathing body. Just try to feel like an empty house with nobody home to answer a call knocking on the doors and windows. There's a sensitive microphone in this body house, the natural present moment awareness. The awareness that knows but doesn't know. It's the middle path between knowing and not knowing. Existence and non-existence. Sambe sankara anicchati yada panyaya pasati atanabindati dukhe esamaggo visuddhiya. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to briefly last and then vanish. When one sees this with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with ignorance and suffering. This is the path to freedom. Thus spoke the Buddha. I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting sadhu on a long out breath to feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Breathe. And mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back. Pull the hands against your knees to arch your spine. Let out the breath. And lift the head up on an in-breath, and on the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. Lift the chin up level on an in-breath, and relax on the out-breath. Okay, friends, this brings our evening of Dhamma discussion and meditation to an end. And just a couple of little announcements. That if you got my mailing that I sent out on Monday, I mentioned in the middle of that mailing that this weekend I'll be doing a Zoom program for the Ottawa Buddhist Society from Ottawa. It will be on Zoom, and they're allowing other people beside their group in Canada to join in that Zoom program. And I've left those links to the URLs to those Zoom programs. There's a talk and meditation on Friday night, this coming Friday night, the 20th. And on Saturday, a day of mindfulness from about, I think it's 8:30 or so, or 9, until I think 3 p.m., a day of mindfulness. That'll all be on Zoom, and those links, go through that email I sent out about last, I think it was a week ago, Thursday or Friday, that So check your emails if you're interested in that. You can find the information, the timings of those programs, the timings, and the URL for that. There's no fees for that program. You can just tune in like you do this one. And, if you want to join, that's this Friday and Saturday, those two programs. So, if you can't find those links, if you want to email me at info@lionwisdom.org, if you can't find those links, that email that I sent out I think it was last Thursday, I believe, Thursday or Friday. I hope you're able to get that, telling about this week's program. And then also next week, I may have to cancel this class because there's kind of a special program going to be happening here. It's a retreat by a Sri Lankan monk. It's going to be in Sinhalese language from Wednesday until Friday. So that means they're going to be using this hall for that. So there won't be a class next Wednesday, but the following week there will be. I'm hoping they're not getting confused by all these kind of interruptions in our program, but that's part of anicca, right? Buddhist teaching that we can't control everything. Okay, so anyway, so again, if you need more information about things, you can email me and ask me, and I can send you those links. So hopefully, if you're interested in that. So until then, anyway, keep up your practice, keep up your M&Ms, and we'll see you again. So,
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Namaste.
So much.
Thank you, Bhante.
See you
Thank
Friday,
you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Good night, Bhante.
Good night,
Thank you.
Bhante.
Mindfulness today keeps dukkha away.
Dhamma.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
More Dhamma, less drama.